A silver conspiracy, Wall Street funny business, cornering the silver market a la the Hunt brothers in the 80s. Maybe, or so claims my next guest, William Cohen, author of the book Money and Power. And joining the panel is Democratic strategist Carl Jeffers. Welcome, guys. Go ahead, sir. Okay, so silver's up. Things go up in price, but you're saying someone has an interest. Who is that?
Well, what I'm saying is there's an allegation out there. There's been lawsuits filed. There's been whistleblowers who have made their case with the CFTC, the Commodity Futures Trading Commission, that basically, and again, I'm not taking sides, I was just sort of reporting what's going on in the blogosphere. And on the blogosphere, there is this full-blown conspiracy theory that JP Morgan Chase and HSBC have cornered the market.
Well, they've cornered it in the wrong direction, though.
Well, at the moment, it's the wrong direction, but for the longest time, it went in the right direction for them. They made billions of dollars. Now the short squeeze is on because they were short, about 80%, their percentage ownership of the silver market, which is relatively small and relatively thinly traded. So the allegation is that they've been manipulating.
So our viewer understands, and again, I've done this for 25 years,
Absolutely.
forever.
Go for
They
it.
were trying to hold the price of silver down because they had a short position betting it was going to go down, even while gold went up and copper went up and other things went up.
Other commodities have been going through the roof.
Making billions of dollars while it was down. But now the tables are turning on them.
But only after a year ago, a whistleblower, a trader in London, came along and started sending emails to the CFTC in Washington saying, you've got to look into this. Again, I'm just being reportorial
what's wrong with
here.
Putting a massive bet on the direction of a silver market?
Well, nothing, but there are position limits that the...
Did they exceed them?
Right now, as of the Dodd-Frank law, they do exceed them, and it's the CFTC's job.
That thing was signed into law probably after this whole thing was going down.
Even now, with it signed into law, they do exceed the position limits. They have been given waivers at this point, so they're not in any violation of anything. The point is that I made in this article is that the CFTC has been investigating this for over 2.5 years. So on the one side, you've got JP Morgan Chase and HSBC saying, hey, we're just taking a short position because that's the direction we believe it to go. And on the other side are all these holders on the long side who believe that they're manipulating the market by releasing little bits of silver here and there because they're so big and powerful and the market is so small. And the CFTC has been investigating and no report yet.
Here's my question, William.
Yes.
What if this was the gasoline market and they kept the
much
price
bigger,
of gasoline
much bigger,
low, though? We wouldn't be hearing. Well,
we wouldn't be hearing
the traders saying, oh, by the way, I want my gasoline prices much higher.
Well,
you're doing
of course, the other thing is that every single American needs gasoline for their car, right? Not every single American is playing.
Market, doesn't it? It has to be a free.
Well, but the point that's being made
directionally on anything, whether it's silver or gasoline.
Absolutely, but there are position limits, and because the silver market is so small and so thinly traded, the allegation is that they have cornered it in such a way that by releasing the stores of silver that they own, they're able to manipulate the price.
Well, that's what I think free enterprise is all about. You make a bet on what way it's going to go. If you bet on gold now, you think it's going to go up to $2,500 an ounce, go, send your money in there. If it goes the other way, you're going to lose money. So as far as I'm concerned, that's what it's all about, the commodities.
Judith, any thoughts on this?
Well, I only have one thought, which is that since the beginning of the fiscal crisis, the financial crisis, not a single person has gone to jail for any of this. And one has to wonder, at one point, doesn't anybody come up with something that's good enough to take to court?
Jeffers, you want to weigh in on the corner?
Sure. Eric, the one thing that you asked William was, what's wrong with making a massive bet on the market? Then you said, in response correctly, there's nothing wrong with it. However, where the problem is if that massive bet is part of what is considered to be an overall conspiracy to manipulate the market, and if you can prove that, then
Jeffers,
in fact it is very,
Jeffers,
very, in
do you
fact,
know how smart you are? Do you understand how smart you are?
I think that's quite well established at this point.
You know why you're smart? Because it wasn't one group. It wasn't just JP Morgan.
That's right.
If there was collusion between Morgan and the bank, HSBC,
that's right.
Then you have conspiracy.
So, and the fact is that when the Hunt brothers did this in the 70s and 80s, let's remember that ultimately they were forced to declare bankruptcy because in the end, and if Mr. Cohen is right about this, in the end, the justice will prevail in terms of the exposure and the investigation, and ultimately those same economic risk will turn into be an economic disaster for the players.
Last thought, sir?
Well, I think what I'm merely saying is let's have the CFTC's report, which has investigated this for 2.5 years. Bart Chilton, one of the CFTC members, has said enough investigation. Let's start a prosecution if there is one, or just drop it.
There you go. We're going to have to leave it there. We're going to say thank you to William Cohen and Judith Miller for joining us. First time for Judith for joining us, not the last, though. A spokesman for the State Department gets the boot after putting his foot in his mouth. What about our top spy, Mr. James Clapper? This guy's got both feet in his mouth, and he's still got a job. Next.